stars in Germany. Recording. Okay. Okay. All right. So we can go ahead. So 2.1 is it says the registered office of the Sacco Society shall be at Ken Banco House, 4th floor, exit 1, EXT 1, Moy Avenue, PO Box 4436, 001001, Nairobi, Kenya. And then the telephone number 254-748-18147. Jowes website is www.jakanyanam.com. So the reasoning for this, before it was on our old address. So this amendment is just to update our details to our new location. You're welcome to slide the slide all the way to the end. Monica, are you able to slide it to the end? Slide it to your right.
Yeah.
So our details have changed from 1st December, and we have moved to the new office. So we have registered our own. We have our own PO box number, and so all of that was updating that part of it.
Okay.
Okay, moving along. We have the next place that was going to be amended was the 9.3 part of it. On that, it stated the members shall sign or make a thumb mark in the register of members in the presence of 2 members of the committee to indicate her acceptance of the bylaws of the society. So we recognize that this part is something that we don't normally do. I think probably when we began in the beginning, we needed to do it. But now we don't, but right now it's by completing and submitting the membership application form, the physical or the digital, the member indicates the acceptance of the bylaws of the society. Let's keep scrolling. Just by signing the membership form or sending the membership form over through your email, that will indicate, you wanting, to be a part of us. So we're actually just updating that part of having thumbprints and all of that we had at least when the Sacco started. So if I'm going too fast, you guys stop me, but that was that part. Any questions on that or anything to clarify? I'm thinking not. So 9.4 was the part that said, on 9.1 it said they will be admitted by the committee subject to confirmation by the next general meeting. So that would think of seeing to remove that part, because normally by the time somebody puts in an application and makes their payments and all of that good stuff, it already goes through the process of, the management seeing it, I think. So at the same time, guys, this is us. Yeah. So that part was that part. But I think I was getting a question in my head right now where I'm asking myself, because this part also was talking about if we're not in agreement for having somebody in our membership, how would we do that at this point? That's just a question I'm asking myself now.
That if we didn't want a member in Jowes.
I mean, it sounds bad when I say it like that, but we know that, for instance, our bylaw says it's Maniluo Ginyisuba. If somebody were to come who was not meeting, or somebody who's coming who was not meeting something that we were requiring, or maybe our bylaw says they have to be of sound mind and they're not of sound mind, or whatever it is that would make them not be eligible for membership. I'm just wondering how we would go about that, because this part was. Go ahead.
Yeah. So From my perspective, because I'm the one who put that we remove this part, I thought it was redundant because it's a process we don't follow in the first place. So we don't present all the new members at the AGM and let other members approve of them. We've not removed the part where we can remove a member. That's still there. So if someone feels a member should not be a member, the process of removal is still the same. You know, they can be removed in an AGM. It's just we don't have that process where we accept people in that AGM. So if someone, for example, joins in April the 13th, for example, and they've paid their share capital and they've been paying their deposits for the next 12 months, are we saying that come the next April, when we have our AGM, we then remove them as a member? When someone says, I don't want this person as a member, do we then revoke their membership, or do we say, oh, they were not a member in the first place? Because the fact that they submitted the application, we approved it, we started taking their money, means they're already a member. That was my thought process. But happy to be corrected. That's why we bring them here, if someone has a different thought process.
Okay, no, actually that clarifies it for me. So I'm good. So we can move on.
Because I think the approval should be at the application stage. But do we have that process during the application stage? Do we have a process of scrutinizing who is applying?
That is another thing, is do we do that?
Because I think so far we've been safe. We've not had any outliers. So I think it's really not be a problem, but we can't assume that that will continue. Like I know there are members here who have raised this point, like there are Luos who are married to ladies from other tribes. Should we admit those people from other tribes since they are married in Nyanza, something like that? So I think that still needs, I know it was discussed in one of the AGMs and people were strongly against it. But I think something needs to be in writing.
Yeah, so I hope, is Damaris in this call? Because I think Damaris told us legally we cannot have that in writing.
Oh, yeah, because it's discrimination.
Yeah, it's discrimination. So we cannot have that in writing. We can enforce it within ourselves because we have the mandate to deny anyone membership, but legally we cannot put that anywhere, that we will not accept you if you
don't meet the criteria. You should, I mean, if you are not a Luo, you don't come from Soba and all that, why would you apply in the first place? Why would you be approved?
I think the argument was, let's say there's a Kikuyu or a Kisii lady who is married to a gentleman from Suba and now considers Suba their home.
Home by acquired home. Anyway, I don't know. I can't tell. But anyway, technically, I think you whatever we had agreed upon, you must be a Luo, you must be a Soba. That's full stop.
Yes, what we do now is we just check the back of the ID. That's what we go by.
Those acquired, whatever, are not accepted. Otherwise, everybody will be.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, but right now we are still small and maybe we can get away with it for a few years. But you just never know. We may need a line there just to cover the circle because leaders change, things change, and sometimes things change very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah, and some of these people, they do these things intentionally. You know, some of these people, they may think, Jowes, they like joining our things and they think they are nice. So they may just go the whole way.
No, okay, so what you're saying is we leave that there. We don't remove that.
I think we remove it, but we need to work on a phrase to cover the circle. Should there be something Should there be somebody who wants to cause trouble in the future?
They will cause trouble already.
Why
because
can't we just say you have to be a Luo by birth?
Yeah, something like that.
you cannot be a law of that. Anyway, I don't understand it. Whatever was said is what we should follow. We start creating other things, then we are doomed to fail. We will fail.
Yeah, we've already said you have to be a Luo, you have to be from this region. I think we can stick with that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's not
So
complicate things.
whether you are married to a Luo and you are in Luo land, please look for your people somewhere. It sounds a bit harsh, but those are the recipes for chaos in the whatever.
Exactly.
So do we want
Yes.
to keep this phrase then, so that so that members have the right to bring up sort of to question the new members admitted in that general meeting?
I think that would be cumbersome. We should just do it the way we've been doing it.
Mm.
Okay, so I think then that means we keep this phrase. So we don't change anything. We just keep this phrase.
Yeah, but you are saying here subject to confirmation by the next general meeting, but we never do it in a general meeting.
Yeah. So that was the argument, is we never do it, so we remove it. But to your point, you said you want to reserve the right to do it if you want to. If you feel that management is admitting people you don't want, you want the right to.
The
No,
management.
I don't think that's what I said. I just said we need a system, and we have already agreed that there's already a system in place. Maybe if you wanted to amend that 9.1, you could just say they will be admitted by the committee and remove subject to confirmation by the next general meeting.
Okay. So we amend that, not remove it.
No.
Okay.
Because then that covers us that we have a system in place.
Okay. Jackie, you're lost, or I'm the one who can't hear you.
Okay, I guess you couldn't hear me, right? Hello?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, I was using my headphones, so I guess my headphones are not working. So moving along. So we said we are going to just leave it or just adjust it. So just leave it as it is right now, right? That 9.1 part. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so moving along, so we move on to the resolutions, right? I didn't receive anything from the credit team to look at the loan policy. So on that, I don't think we have anything on that. I mean, we don't have anything on that one right now, right? Because they didn't respond back to me either. So we'll move on
No,
to
we don't. Rosemary and Millicent are both on the line.
Okay. Rosemary or
But-
Millicent, did you have anything that you needed? I know there's a lot that needs to be updated on our loan policy. Did you have anything for us?
No, not yet. I think we needed to put it out to members to make suggestions, but we
Yeah,
don't have any as ourselves as a credit committee.
So you don't have any changes that you need made on our
Not as
processes?
yet. We need to have a meeting to just check because we just signed a new amended one, but there's some things that needed to be changed. But we thought maybe we ask the members to look at it and then we also combine with ours.
Okay, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Those are
Mm.
what we needed to look at.
Yeah, okay.
You know what?
Anyway.
Let's come back to this.
Okay,
Let's go
okay.
ahead and look at the resolutions. But in the
Okay.
meantime, the things that need to be amended, because I know there's a lot of things that we have talked about that needs to be amended, and that the members have to see that before we bring that to the AGM. So maybe we can prepare it and then send out the documents so that I don't know, next week, next education day, discuss it. But because we do have to give members an opportunity to discuss it. So, and before the AGM, but the goal was that on the AGM we're not spending a lot time. Our AGM, we're trying to make our AGMs shorter. So that's why we're wanting to have all our discussions ahead so that on the day of we can get through quicker. So anyway, let's move on to the resolutions for now, and then and come back to the loan policy part. And you and your team, if you could already start getting that document ready, or just so that we can have that out as soon as possible. Did you get my text message, by the way?
When did you send the text message?
The beginning of the week.
Oh no, I didn't get any text message.
Oh, okay.
Please send it again, eh?
Okay,
Please,
maybe
eh?
that's maybe that's why you're not ready, and I'm sorry for
Okay,
that.
okay.
Okay, okay. Let's go. Let's move on to the resolutions.
You want me to click on the tab resolutions?
Yes. Irene, did you say we're going to look at this way, or we were going to? Okay. Irene, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I see.
I'm greeting someone. I'll be with you in 1 second.
Okay. So.
Okay, I'm here.
This is how we're going to look at those resolutions. We took out what we needed to take out, right? So I can just use this tab, right, as is what I was just confirming here. Yeah, I think we took it out immediately. Okay, so the first thing was the auditor. Right now we use auditors that are sent to us by the Ministry of Cooperative. They have a pool of auditors that they use. That is who we are using. That's who we are using currently. That's where we're getting our auditors from. So what's the comment on this? I think before the question was we were trying to find an auditor, and then the resolution was we're using the ones that are assigned by the ministry. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I think we cannot afford new auditors or other external auditors at the moment. Just sticking to those. These ones are pretty standard. We'll still have to do this at the AGM to kind of confirm the Ministry of Cooperative Auditors. But yeah, it's standard.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing, bankers. Right now we have Cooperative Bank of Kenya. What we're looking at getting a second bank to allow for digital signatures. Right now, Cooperative doesn't allow us, and by the time board members change or we need signatures, it's really it's very costly and timely to send signatures all around the world, because we all know that our board members are we have people all over the world, so it's been very costly. So us as a team of managers were looking at getting a second bank account to allow, and this is a bank that allows digital signatures. So that is one of the resolutions we're looking at getting passed. Does anyone have a comment on that?
Can I just give a bit more context on what you said?
Definitely.
So, for example, this year, it's taken us a whole year to get all the forms done, only to get the forms to Nairobi, and then the Ministry of Cooperative have refused to sign those forms because they're questioning why are we changing signatories 2 months or 3 months to the AGM. So it's been very, very costly. I think we've spent more than £20,000, maybe, or like 15, maybe, just sending that form round the world to be signed. Corp Bank does not accept digital signatures. So the form has to move from one person to another, to another, to another. And the way the form is arranged, you can't even say, I'll send this page out to these people, they sign and bring it back. It literally has to move from person one fills and signs, it moves to person two fills and signs. And it's not only the 5 signatories, it's also the people who are now being removed as signatories. So it's a really cumbersome process. Last year, it was the same thing. It took us about 7 months to change them. By the time you're changing the signatories, your elections again, your signatories have changed. So yeah, so this is why we really need to look for a second bank that allows digital changing of signatures. I know Lydia was looking for, had been calling around banks to find if there's one that does allow that, but that's the main reason why we want this. Just putting, I know, whatever said, Jackie has already said it, but just putting a bit more, arguments to the cause.
Did you say you have spent £20,000 to get these things?
No,
sorted or
shillings.
something?
Sorry, my head is always in pounds.
Yeah,
Shillings.
I was
No,
shocked.
not pounds, shillings.
So what does this mean for the Jowes Sacco? Does it mean that I think it's a good idea. It's ridiculous that the cooperative bank still does all this analog stuff. And getting a second account, I think, is a good idea. I'm just wondering what implication it has to the deposits from the members. Will we still be depositing to the corporate bank and then you people transfer that money to the new bank account, or how does that work?
So normally, when people deposit, we actually transfer that money to our MFF. So it goes directly to investment if we don't have expenses to do at that time. But now we'll have the option. We'll slowly phase out the cooperative bank. So that's the plan, is just slowly phase out the cooperative bank into the new bank. So people deposit into the new bank account. But it's going to be a slow phase. We'll keep the cooperative bank because I think we have to keep it. And it's also good for us to actually have 2 bank accounts. So we'll still keep that, but we slowly phase to the new one. And that's assuming the new one allows us to have digital signatures, because we've not found a bank yet.
So if you still keep the cooperative bank, then for the time you still have it, you still have to go through this nightmare of signatories changing and you going around the world with it to
Yes.
decide.
But what we want to avoid, so let's say, for example, right now we are quite lucky. All the signatories who are signatories are in the management team. They're not executive as they should be, but they're still in the management team. Last year, we had to rely on people who are no longer in the management team. So to actually sign things for us, which slowed down, we saw slowing down in loans being signed off, dispersed, because those people are no longer, in the management team. So we're kind of working on luck. So let's say this year, half of us go, then it takes about a year to change. Then what's happened? So it's just kind of mitigating our risks a bit. So if we have money in 2 accounts, it means if we change one faster, you can still pay things, you can still continue with running the Sacco, even if some of the money are in another account. So that's really what we're trying to do, is mitigating the risk.
But wasn't this the reason we wanted to go to become a diaspora Sacco? Wasn't it also because of the signatory issue?
Yes, it was. But we've been told that's not in law yet. So we can't, there's nothing like being a diaspora Sacco, apparently. That's what we've been told. It's not something that's been embedded. They've talked about it, but nothing has been signed. There's no bill that has been signed. So currently, SASRA just does people with 10 million and 100 million. They won't take us on.
So yeah, so that is one of the resolutions we're looking at passing. Um, uh, I think it's self-explanatory. Is there any other questions in regards to this, or can we move along?
So was this advisable? Did you consult the people how did whose idea was it to go through these banks, and is it because you can do something and then in the end you are told, oh, it wasn't, you can't do that. It was, or probably the cooperative bank will again now say, oh, now that you're using our auditors and you are facing us off, we are not going to carry on rendering you these services. I don't know.
So the
Did you
auditors
consult?
don't belong. The auditors don't belong to Cooperative Bank. They belong to Ministry of Cooperatives.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
And these resolutions are going to go to the Ministry of Cooperatives. So our DCO is going to look at them, and she's going to, the ones that she thinks actually you can't do this, she's going to tell us. We have asked about having a second bank, and that has not been a problem. She said, yeah, we can have it as long as members both vote for it on the AGM. And that's why we're going to be bringing it in the AGM to be voted for by members. So by the time we get there, we'll have actually found a bank, because we can't just tell you we're opening a second bank. We have to tell you which bank. So by the time we get to the AGM, we'll have known which bank. I think Lydia would have finished calling around the banks. We would have found a bank that does digital signature. Or we would have not found a bank that does digital signatures, and we'll come back and say, actually, there's no bank that does digital signature, but we found a bank which is more flexible than Coop Bank, because Coop Bank is really bank ya wakulima. I love Coop Bank. Don't have an issue with them, but their processes are just very archaic.
Manual.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you for letting me understand.
Okay, any other questions on that, or can we go ahead?
Yeah, one final one. Is there a requirement that all SACCOs should have a cooperative bank account, or that is not a requirement?
I think
actually believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
So we'll
You have
keep
to have
that.
at least one.
Yeah. So we'll still keep Coop Bank, but we're just wanting to we need a second one for, especially when it comes to the signatory part of it. I
But
think
then it beats the purpose. If we are still keeping the cooperative bank and we are having a second one, you are still going to have the same problem with the cooperative bank and the signatures.
So
but
the
you see, we'll be able
timing.
to.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, I was going to say the factor is timing. We'll be able to continue running the business as usual once we've changed signatories. We'll still have to go around changing the other one, but it can be as slow as it takes. We won't be so dependent on it. As I was saying, this year we are very lucky. All the signatories are members. Last year, we were not so lucky. We had half of the signatories were actually not members. So it took a bit longer because you have to look for them, and then you're also sharing things that you shouldn't really be sharing with non-management committee members because they are signatories. And because they're signatories, they're liable.
So
As I said, it's just a way to mitigate our risk.
Yeah, I hear you. I think what maybe members may need to be clarified is what monies will be banked in this second account vis-a-vis the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. I think that's where it may be a little confusing in the sense that you still have this other cooperative bank account where all members remit their savings and their shares. Then what do you plan to do? Do you plan to essentially transfer some money from the cooperative bank every month to this second account so that it allows you to run the Sacco business, or how do you plan to manage that?
So that's a good shout. I think we will look at that and we will come back. We'll formulate a plan before we bring this back of how we're going to manage that.
Okay.
So any other questions, or can we move along on that now? But yeah, as Irene has said, we'll definitely we will need a plan, just because on the day-to-day petty cash issues and all those kind of details that we have to do in the background, there's the treasurer can tell us, anyway, yeah, so those are the details, but we'll get into it and get back to the members as required. So moving along, if there's any, and I really would suggest if you guys have questions that you need clarified further, definitely either shoot an email, get with us so that we can have all of this ready, so that by the time we're doing our AGM, all of that is clarified, so we don't spend so much time at the AGM still trying to get with that. So the next thing on the list was the staff bonus. Somebody we do give our staff a bonus. There was different ways. Thanks. Irene has to drop off. Irene, thank you so much for. Irene had a pre-planned commitment that she has to go through, and she was just stopped by to help with the beginning of this meeting here. So thanks, Irene, and have a good time. We'll talk to you later. So we'll continue. I'll continue with my best as I can. Normally, this is Irene's baby, so we're just helping each other out here. So our next thing was a staff bonus. We had a meeting with the auditor, and the auditor is on that suggested that we give the staff the bonus as declared. No, there was yeah, we're trying to see what's the best way to do it, and yeah, that was the suggestion from the auditor. Any questions on that? Can you guys still hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that part of it?
I think that's in order. We just need to figure out, I think for me, the question was, where's the money coming from? Where do we get the money for the bonus? The idea of the bonus is good. I think it's just, where do we get the money?
Yeah, I mean, we've all, like even last year, we did give them a bonus, and it's always based on what our income is, but it's the interest that we've earned and all that good stuff. But our treasurer would be able to fafanua better on that. I know she was working today, so Brenda, are you here today? I don't know if she's here on that, but we can come back to we can come back on that. But I think it's based normally on whatever profits we have from our interest, and that's where things like bonuses and honorariums and all that come out of. And moving right along, the next part of it, our auditor also is another suggested that the management needs to be given honorarium from the perspective of, right now, as you can see, we're really having an issue with people wanting to serve just because of how much time it takes and all of that. And she was suggesting that it would be a good incentive to have people come in that they know that they also will be getting things like an honorarium also. This is just a suggestion from our from the auditor. Okay, yes. Okay. So the next thing, somebody on our Padlet, somebody did suggest that to award the past management, to give them, some kind of an award. This was suggested anonymously on the Padlet. So we definitely wanted to bring it over here to our members to see if that's a resolution that we agree on or that they agree on and are willing to take on. Any comments on that one? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not hearing any comments, so I will move on along. But I guess we'll just bring it on. If there's any objections, anything else that anybody needs to say, let us know in good time so that we can, when we're bringing that on now as a resolution. The next thing was about the diaspora union. We wanted to bring that on also as one of our resolutions. Just because I think we've all, the one example is a signature issue. So that is why the diasporans had wanted to come together, and whenever there's an issue, they wanted to be able to bring it to the ministry as a force, as a front together, as a union. So that's what they were working on. Well, we have been part of the talks of this group. There's already a group that's formed. They kind of came through one of the things is there's going to be like I think maybe around it was maybe I want to say 100,000 that they wanted as membership to be part of this diaspora union. There were other details that were added to it that were needed to also know about, but it's still a work in progress. But as Irene had mentioned, the ministry has this whole thing was supposed to have been a bill in Parliament. The bill has not gone through, or the diaspora union part of it was added onto a different bill as a little sublet, as a little writing on the bottom. So it hasn't really gone through it right now. So as we wait for it to go through, that's kind of what has kind of put us on a standstill. But we also wanted to make sure that we have brought it to our members, and that our members are wanting us and are agreeable to us as a group being part of this diaspora union. That is why we wanted to pass it as a resolution, so that when the time comes and everything is ready, we can, we can say, okay, our members are aware and they're agreeable to us being a part of it. Any comments on that? I don't hear any comments, so I'm going to move along. The next thing was having lawyers. Right now, we have used, we needed just to, we're thought of engaging like attorneys, just to have attorneys that we can have on our own. A lot of times we have used Bayona, Pachola and Associates, because it's kind of hard to find lawyers that you can trust who don't go, who are straight. So we've worked with Bayona on a couple of things, but we're wanting to have her on, as our attorney to, in case we need anything, we can always jump to her. So we wanted to bring that to you guys and see. We also, we had asked for additional suggestions. If anybody knows another lawyer or attorney that we can trust, or who they know, who they've worked with in the past, we definitely were wanting more than one name. At this point, it was only Bayona that had come up. So that was another resolution that we're looking at bringing up. Any comments on that one? If there's none, I will move along. Is someone saying something? Okay, I guess not. So I'll move along. The next thing was.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And sorry, I'm joining late. I just woke up. So I'm reading about the so did we have any lawyers that we compared or contrasted? Or
Right
we are
now,
just going, or we are just so what animal is it? Or we are just going to settle on the one that is listed up here?
So Bayona is, as I've said, she's one of the lawyers that we have worked with before, and she's the only one. We had put it out there and asked people to, to give suggestions. There was no suggestion to compare with, first of all. So the first thing, she's one of the suggestions that we have had, and we have used that as that she's one of the ones that we have worked with right now. She's I don't know how else differently to say it, but we have worked with her and we're bringing her on because we trust her and we know her. As I said again, if you have any suggestions, the suggestion is still open. Give us more suggestions. At this time, there's no one else to compare with. because no one else had been suggested. I hope that answers your question, Etienne. Etienne, does that answer you, please?
Yeah, that answers my question. I was trying to look for the mute button.
Yeah. And definitely, if you guys know of any different additional attorneys, the more the merrier. Just let's make sure that they're, that somebody you can trust, because we've come to find out that even lawyers are crooked, and it's unbelievable a lot of times. But yeah. But so if you have additional suggestions, definitely bring them so that we can have a good, that we can have a good, we can have choices.
Quick question.
Yes.
Do we have lawyers specializing on SACCOs and cooperatives, or what specialty of lawyers are we looking at, or just a general lawyer?
So right now, like Viona she specializes in things to do with what do you call it, real estate and all that, and building and all those kinds of things in that area. So normally we need them just to help with assessing contracts, like if our members are taking loans for building and that, those kinds of things. Or like even like when we're renting the new facility, she is on that to help us go through the contract and make sure that that there was nothing hidden in that contract for our new facility. So that's why that is why we needed her. So as on an as need basis, that's basically what we're doing right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did we pay her for reviewing the contract, or?
Yeah. So right now, yeah, we do have to pay her. The government has a set amount that lawyers have to be remunerated. They have a set amount. The good thing with her is like when there's when there's been questions that but because I think the government requires like I think it's 15,000, but like when she sees that it's something that is really not that worth, I know she gave us like a discount, or she charged us 10,000 instead, because it was not something that was that she felt, anyway, she gave us a discount basically and did not keep with what the government states that they as lawyers have to charge us. There's a certain there's certain there's a table that the government gives lawyers that they have to charge.
I think we had our lawyer fee on the budget. I just don't remember how much it was. I'd just like to look at that again just to make sure we didn't pass what members proposed. Thank you.
Yeah, and as I said again, a lot of times the lawyers have to go at whatever rate that the government gives, so that they don't overcharge people. Okay, moving along.
Dom has a question on the chat.
Okay, I'm not able to look at the chat. What's the question? How about looking for a corporate lawyer dealing with corporate society? Sure, definitely we could definitely do that. Dom, if you know of a cooperative lawyer, definitely you can help us look for that, and we'll be happy to load her on as one of our people to reference back with. That's a good idea. Okay. Next, any other question, any other comments on this particular resolution? Rosemary, I see that you have to drop off by 8 p.m. Thanks for being here.
What is that?
Rubbish and like glass bottles and that.
Okay, can you please mute if you're if you're finished other things? Okay, the next thing is the frequency change of our bylaws. It says amendments of bylaws to be every 5 years. AGM resolutions will be acted upon when voted in until the next bylaw amendment schedule, where they will be incorporated into the bylaws. The argument for that is it gives time to test the viability of the resolution, and then every time we go and amend the bylaws, it costs us a lot of money. So that's why we wanted to reduce how many times we do it. Reduce the times we amend it. So that was the argument for that. Okay. Any comments on that one, or can we move along?
Yeah, do we know how much it costs to amend the bylaws? And I think my only concern, and I'm just
Yeah.
speaking as a member,
Yeah.
and the members can chime in. I'm not disputing the 5 years. I've been in management. I know how hectic it is to change a bylaws and just following those crooked people, cooperative, just to get them to sign that thing is a nightmare. However, I think 5 years is too long, too long. So let's say we have, or let's say maybe there's a change in policy, Ministry of Cooperative, or, something has come up, or tumeingia sasra, we have that asset base of 100K. We need to ingia sasra, right? So are we going to wait for 5 years before we change this law? So I think maybe my suggestion, we can put the 5 years, but add there, like, in case there's something that is really urgent that needs to be amended, then we have to put it in there. To make some caveat, but I was thinking 5 years is too long, especially, as you read the bylaw, every time something important creeps in. So we can just put like, unless there's something that will really affect the Sacco or affect the members, then, we can decide to amend that, just that kind of thing. That's my personal opinion.
I also support Achieng on that. My thing is, I think we are still a very young circle, and given the experience we've had so far, we are still learning as we go along. So we need to have that flexibility. I think, yeah, 5 years is good, but we need to have a caveat that if something comes up that needs an amendment urgently, we can either, I don't know whether we call it a small AGM, there's usually a smaller meeting
It's
before.
called an SGM.
Yeah, SGM. I don't know how many times you can do those in a year, but that will cover us, because so many things come up, even in the present bylaws. There are so many things we still don't understand, but we are learning as we go along. And we also get members who read things differently. We get management teams also every year. So I think having a caveat would cover us well. I personally think maybe we should put it 3 years instead of every 5 years. But other members can also chime in.
Yeah, those are definitely some really good suggestions. And we could definitely put that into consideration. And we're definitely also, flexible enough to know that if there's something that's urgent, that needs to be taken, that will be taken care of. It's just that we're spending so much money then, as Justin has already said, every little law change is at 10,000 shillings, and then on top of that, Kitu Kidogo. On top of that, Kenya is just a whole other. There's so much that we've experienced in the past, but definitely, well, I could see if we could change it to the 3 years, if that's more agreeable. Okay, I'm thinking, for instance, right now that they just finished the old one, the AGM again. We're going to have another one, so before the AGM, we can look at it again and see how it's working. Okay, 3 years maybe we could. Maybe the suggestion I'll put forward and change that 5 years, maybe to 3 years instead of 5 years, if that's more agreeable. And then, then if there's anything that's even more urgent than that, we could definitely look into doing it, as soon as we can. So definitely, I'm agreeable to that. We can look at that. Any other comments on that particular one? So, Monica, are you able to? Okay, so moving along. So the next thing was increase in share capital. As we all know, our goal is to grow, right? So and to grow, one of the things, even like not be under SARS and all that, is we have to increase our capital share. That is our all. That is the main goal. Now, so far, of course, with member deposits and all of that, those are part of our growth, yes. But we are trying to find strategies of even making us grow even further. So that's why the proposal to increase our share capital to 15,000. So what and I'm going to just read this because so members will be given until March of 2026 to increase their share capital. So any member whose share capital is less than 15,000 on 1st of April of 2026, and any money in their holding account is what we're going to use first to join to boost the share capital to 15,000 required, and then after that we'll look and see what is in their savings, and that's what we're going to use. Another thing we're looking at is when a member is withdrawing from the Sacco after this resolution has been passed, we will have to make sure that we take the share capital of 15,000 before the withdrawal is processed, and then any loans applied from as of 1st of January will apply the 15,000 share capital as a requirement. Remember, before you take a loan, we always make sure that you have paid your share capital. So we'll want to make sure that as of 1st January 2026, when you're applying for a loan, that you have met this this part of your share capital where you're supposed to have it. And then any new members joining after the resolution is passed will need 15,000 to be paid within the 6 months of their joining. So that is the resolution, and as you know, to repeat again, the reason is because our goal is to try and to grow our Sacco, to create a large base to enable the Sacco to. Gonna scroll a little bit more, Monica. Can you scroll to the end? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Monica. Anyway, yeah, so that is the goal. Any comments on that, please? Are you guys still there?
Yeah, here.
Yeah. So I know it's a lot. I know it's I said a lot of things, but basically this line is talking about increasing our share capital, and we're kind of just breaking down how it's going to look after 2026.
All right, I have a comment.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So if we had, like inflation in an increase, prices increase, things are becoming more expensive na vitu kama hivyo. So this share capital question is also in relation to amending the bylaws in 3 or 5 years. So sasa vile nini na increase na tumelipa share capital 2026. That means for us to even increase this share capital again to build this Sacco, tutaongoja 2026, 2027, 2028, 2030. Watu watakuwa wanalipa tu 15K share capital, right? We'll have to wait for 5 years. How will we build the asset of this Sacco? So my proposal is in view of this, because we need to grow this Sacco Akinilua. This Sacco imetoka mbali, and I thank God it's still standing, and we have great leadership team, I don't know if it's within the law or you can verify maybe with the CEO. Can we say that we will increase the share capital to 15,000, which is due by March of next month, And why March? Mbona tusiweke April juu AGM ni April anyway, when we'll have propose this. And then say that maybe every year the share capital it increase by 2K or by 5K. But just that's just a proposal, but you can reach out to this year to find out if that's something that can be put in the bylaws. Otherwise, grow tutabaki 5 years, change constitution, hatuwezi amend for 5 years, to make a static 15K for maybe 3 to 5 years. So that's just my suggestion.
Hi, ladies. I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for the good presentation. I comment on share capital. It is important for members to be told the importance of this in really specific terms, because you remember when ladies want some members who would like to leave, it becomes really difficult for them to sell their share capital. So if people really don't understand, as Acheng has said, we really need to grow our Sacco. But if people don't understand the importance of share capital, it is going, many ladies or many members might oppose it. And yet we really need to grow our Sacco. As Acheng has rightly put, it has come from far, and we really need to grow it. And I also support her that changing our bylaws after every 5 years might make us stagnant for so long. So ladies don't attend meetings, they don't attend trainings, and they're the same people who ask questions. So maybe during the AGM, people should be told before this is presented, maybe in the chair lady's speech, she should have a section of really trying to train or trying to talk to members the importance of increasing our share capital. Thank you.
That's a really good suggestion. So we will definitely incorporate that in trying to educate. You know, if you guys have any suggestions on how we can do it better, we're definitely open to suggestions. But that's why we have our education days, to try and see how else, you know, how to bring this across to our members so that they know, you know, what to do. But we'll definitely, you know, the 5 years, maybe, as we said again, maybe we need to rethink that and change that, either instead of, you know. But I'll definitely take, you know, with all the suggestions we're listening to, we'll talk about it again and then see whether we should bring this to this resolution, or whether we say that we say increase every 5 years or 5K going forward. So that would mean 15,000 by 2025. So it's going to be 20,000 by 2026, 25,000 by 2027, and 30,000 by 2030. So that's what the 5,000 you know, every year, and you know, 5,000 annually increase. So we could definitely look at those different things, and all I'll do is I'll bring this before the team again and see what is a better resolution to bring to the AGM. We're still up until the day of the AGM. We're definitely still open to amending this resolution. So definitely continue to give your suggestions, continue to you know, bring your ideas, so that way we can definitely, because our main goal really is to grow as a Sacco. And remember, even when you're growing as a Sacco, you're growing as an individual also. So that's at the end of the day, that is the bigger picture of it, right? So when you grow as a person, your family is also growing. So you know, that's the big of it. But we'll continue. Any other suggestions on this particular point? Rose says we may need to look for other alternatives to increase our base capital instead of increasing the share capital. But that's absolutely true, and that's why we also have different. We are looking at different things. We are looking at having different kind of loans that we give out. Just a different thing that we can look at. If you have suggestions, definitely tell us. You know, let us know what this could be. The reason why we also look at the share capital, that is the one part. That is the one part that is kind of stable. That we can almost, I'm saying it in quotation, is the one thing that we can control. We cannot control how many loans people take to make interest on the loans. We have no control over that. But the share capital is the one thing that is non-refundable. It's the one thing that the Sacco, it's you owning part of the Sacco. That's the only thing that we kind of have control over, and that is why we look at that as one of our major ways also. Yeah. Okay. But thanks for that suggestion, and definitely we're always open to looking at alternatives to increase our base capital. We're definitely always looking at suggestions for those.
Yeah, another quick input. I think also
Yes.
to incentivize members, we may need to find a way of, I don't know how other circles do it, but how do we increase the value of shares? Because shares are not something, if you're leaving the circle, you go away with, you always leave them there, either you sell them. But I have seen members who want to leave struggle to sell their shares. And that's either because our members can't afford, or maybe people just don't see the value of shares. So is there anything our Sacco can do to increase shares of the value of our shares so that people are scrambling for them, so to speak? Number two, do we have comparisons with other circles, what the minimum shares are on those circles? Do they mandate members to have a certain number of shares to be able to be viable in that circle? Does that happen in other circles? I don't know. That's just a general question for me.
And to answer you, I'm not the expert in this, but just from the little I've seen around the different circles. For instance, ours is only 15,000. There's people who have 100,000. So the people, it ranges on also, it ranges. There's a wide range of the differences that are out there. I think the main thing is to, am I still here? Can you guys still hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so the main thing is just to, the ranges are so, they differ so much. There's so many different ranges, so um we could definitely do a better comparison and see what other circles have out there, and try and emulate some of them, and just to see if that would help our circles. That's going to definitely be a homework that us as management, or you as members, if you know of any other circles, or you have any ideas, definitely shoot them our way. That way we can do comparisons and either copy or whatever it is, those additional ones, those other circles. But yeah, the
Vice
one
Chair,
thing we
oh,
could,
sorry.
yeah. So, but I was going to say, the one thing we continue to want to try and make our circle, to add value to our circle. That's why we're trying to even give different kinds of programs. That way, people see more value in it, because the only way we can increase that is the more people we get, the more they're able to see that they're getting value, and when they get value, they're wanting to be a part. When they're being a part, they're putting their money in and all of that kind of stuff. So that's how we are trying to just basically add value. Sorry, go ahead, Akin.
Yeah, so I just Googled Mwalimu Sacco, which is very big Sacco. I think theirs is 20K. And then Google Kinisitu Sacco. They say that they want their share to be grown gradually to 30K in 25 months. Just an example. So I was just kind of.
Thank you very much for that. Any other comment? Yeah, so as you can see, there's very many different ways of doing it. So this was just one of the ways that we as a group, as leadership, was thinking of growing out, doing it, and adding value to our Sacco as is. So that was our idea that we're looking at trying to implement. If there are better ways, or if you guys think of something that's also that would be better, definitely let us know and we'll take it into consideration and bring it as a resolution. Because before we implement anything, we definitely have to bring it before the members and you know, see if that would pass as a resolution first. So as I said again, until our AGM, we still have room for suggestions and we're open to them. Okay, moving along. Do you mind keep scroll a little bit more? So the new products that we're looking at right now, we've gone a little bit too far. So one of the things that one of the resolutions that we want to part, we have looked into the benevolent account part, having a benevolent fund. So we've looked into different ones, and we're going to come up with the specifics of it, of the one that we think was the best one for our circle. We looked at about 6 different ones, so there are about 10 different ones that we looked at. So, but we're going to come up with that soon, and let our members know if they want to be a part of that. Another part, that's a part of adding value. Another thing we're looking at is having Christmas accounts or extra saving accounts where you have a minimum saving amount, which is going to be locked for about the 12-month period. You can withdraw from this once a year. There's a 5% interest rate on this. And then, of course, if you do an early withdrawal, you will not get your interest. These are things that Quara can work in their system for us. So we're definitely wanting to offer that so that we all know how Christmas is for everybody. You're always like, oh man, I wish I had more money at that time. So we're trying to give that ahead of in the beginning of the year now, so that at the end of the year people are well padded Christmas account. Another thing we're looking at was the chapter accounts. The different chapters have different programs that they do. One of the things we're trying to see is that the chapter account would be something that the individual would send. It would be, let's say now Atieno it belongs to, let's say, CIA chapter, and CIA chapter has a take where we're saving money. So I as a tenor, I'll be able to open up a chapter account so that the people, are able to, my leader in my chapter can call and check with the staff and say, hey, has Atieno paid her part of whatever it is that we're paying? Her contribution, has she made her contribution? But this is going to go through Quara also. So that, that was another thing that we're looking at. The reasons for this, we're definitely, as always, we're trying to increase membership. We also want to increase the member experience, add value. That's the one thing that we're always looking to do. Another thing that we're looking at, having a chapter account, we're finding that people are more active, like they're paying their chapter dues, but they're not paying their Sacco dues, which negates the reason why we started the chapters. Our chapters are supposed to strengthen our Sacco, but if the chapters are taking away from the Sacco where the member, is not being active in their Sacco, but they're being active in their chapter, it's kind of we're losing the reason why we started our chapters. Another reason is we're finding that in the chapters, like if funds are being sent to an individual, it's just to mitigate risk. We're finding that there's no way for us as a Sacco to help our members when something comes up because we don't know, we didn't know. But if they have a chapter account, it would be, they'd be able to, there'd be better risk management where an individual does not disappear with the money or something like that, So that is what we're looking at, for an example. Any comments on that before I move on?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
There's something I read here about Christmas, something Christmas. Can you explain it further, please?
So we want to. It's called it's a Christmas saving account where you as a Sacco member can open up like the way when you're making your payments in Quora, you can open up, you can say, okay, you can use the money, you can save your money to use for Christmas. So there's people who this specific account is going to earn you 5%, for instance. That's just an example. But it's going to be where you can this account where you're going to be able to save your money, but you can only withdraw. You can withdraw out of this one time a year, and then of course you can use it for Christmas. So it was just a way, another thing that we wanted to offer our members. I don't know, and I know I'm not explaining it properly. I wish Irina was here to better explain it. But do you understand? Does it make sense when I say it the way I'm saying it?
Thank you.
Yeah, but as said again, the only caveat on that account is that if you withdraw the money early, it's still your money at the end of the day, and you can have it anytime. But if you want to enjoy the 5%, you have to keep the money in the account until the end of the year, which is the Christmas time, before you can withdraw the money. But you can earn your 5% from it. Okay.
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh yeah, because I got confused. Your 5% interest, I thought I was going to be charged 5%.
No. That's
if you guys can add 5% interest. Sasa, I'm proposing, can we lock it like we can withdraw as early as 6 months? Because me, I would like to engage in it, but I sitaki kuweka pesa yangu hapo for a whole year. Alafu ndio nikuje ni withdraw. So if we can, if the what math can do some mathing to see if Sacco will still earn something, if we can put it like, hey, you can withdraw as early as 6 months, or 6 months minimum. Kitu kama hiyo, that would be great.
I think then we need to rename it. Then it's not Christmas savings.
Only once a year, yeah.
Koro ka Christmas saving, achako save April. Achako save April, kani and gini di bedo past April, and your bed signed maybe June. Koro donge bana I'll wait for 1.5 years kapoka golo pesa for Christmas. Anyway.
Donge April till the December 2025, course, eh?
Yeah. And then I think
yes, it's December 2025, so it's not 1.5 years. It's less than 6 months. Yeah.
So December 2025 hatutakuwa tumefika 12 months.
Don't have any mana Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. So like if the resolution passes, so by Christmas of 2025 you can withdraw. So the next year going forward,
locked in for 12 months. So maybe we might change the wording a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll look at that. Depending on how, if it passes. Yeah. So we'll take it from there.
And then maybe we can add other saving if we are going the savings route. We can have your Christmas unaweza toa ama just regular school fees saving, whatever, vacation saving. But question yangu ni, have you guys found out the tax implication of these other accounts within the Sacco? And so I think that's your homework. Find it out, and maybe Phyllis and Damaris, they can tell us a little bit more, because I think there's a tax implication for these other interest accounts when it comes to taxes and vitu kama hivyo. I'm not sure about it, but I just know because I heard about it in the other Sacco that has this savings account, and the tax implication is a little high. So maybe we can look into that, mark the numbers, send it to us before the AGM to, we kind of just look at it and see what's going on.
Sure, we could definitely take that as a homework and look into it further.
But I think that's a really good thing, especially with this chapter account, because tunakuanga na chama, so maybe chama members can put their money kwa hizo chapter. So I think it's a really good idea, but just check on the tax implication and see if work out the numbers, see if it's something that Jowes can.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Archie, is it tax on the on members, or it is tax to the Sacco?
It's to the Sacco, lakini sijui vizuri. If Damaris was here or Phyllis, I think they would explain it better because they have had experience with it. But it's to the Sacco, not members.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, just finish your thought.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I've also heard that part where they say that the one part that a Sacco had, the one advantage that for instance, when members borrow money, and that is the lowest tax implications we have. But all these other things is definitely going to be additional tax implications for us as a Sacco. That's some good homework that we need to look into to see what it actually looks like. So we'll definitely, I've noted it down to take a look at that and see how much it is, or how it's going to affect us as a Sacco, if it's going to be worth it. But those are just the ideas that we're looking into. So we'll definitely take that as homework to look at. Any other comments on that?
And also, when you guys finalize this document before the AGM, can you send it to us so that we kind of look at it again?
Yes, we probably will have a different education impromptu meeting again before. Okay, this is already, March here. We'll probably have our next education day again. Just probably, maybe we might just have to dedicate it again to AGM planning and see what else comes up, especially now that we haven't even looked at our loan policy yet. So we probably will have another session again where we're just concentrating on getting ourselves ready for our April AGM, which is, it's the countdown already. It's coming up. Yeah, because March is already here, and then April. Come on, moving along.
Quick question on benevolent account. I didn't understand it well. If you contribute to it and maybe you have a death, for example, the amount of money you get is what you have contributed or what other members also contribute to your death?
Okay, so if you scroll a little bit up on the thing, just scroll a little bit up. So can you scroll a little bit? So the benevolent fund that we're looking at, you've scrolled down is what I was meaning.
You want me to scroll down?
Yeah, to the next so what we're definitely, when we say benevolent fund, we're actually looking at getting a vendor for this. For instance, the way KCB offers a benevolent program. So we're going to actually have use one of, like, and then I'm going to just say it for now. Right now we're looking at KCB. So we're going to use them, and so whatever they have certain my computer is messed up right now. They have certain. We're going to go by what they offer us for the benevolent fund. So that is very different from when you say individual members contribute. That is very different. That and maybe I hope I understand it correctly. When you say individual members contribute, for instance, like now if something happens to me, then I do like a GoFundMe, or like my friends get together and send money to me to help me. That is very different from what the one we're looking at as a benevolent fund. It was actually going to be run by KCB. KCB was going to take your information to the person, get your family information, all of that. So it is going to be run by KCB. Does that clarify your question? Does that answer your question?
So if it's run by KCB, our Sacco gives the money, or how does KCB run it?
No, you as an individual. You're paying for it. Oh,
so it's just a product you are giving members access
exactly.
to.
Yes,
Oh.
and because it is being us as a SACCO are offering it, of course KCB has group benevolent offers, which is different from what you as an individual will go and do.
Mhm.
Yes, so I see
Chair, somebody's saying you are not clear on the chat.
So am I not clear to you guys?
Sometimes you kind of disappear when you are talking. Your voice.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Is it better now if I just stay still? I'm very animated, so maybe I'm using my hands and my legs to talk, and then I put the phone away from my mouth. I apologize. I hope it's better now. I'll try and sit still. Is it better?
Yes.
Okay, Mosuru. So does that clarify your question? This was going to be one that is run by a vendor. So, and as I said again, right now we're looking at KCB. We were looking at Britam. So we're still trying to come to a conclusion, but on which one would be a better offer. But we definitely will need you as members to agree for us to pick one, so that we can actually put it in place, so that we can offer it to our members.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. But I'm in a SACCO. Currently, she's called Upster. It used to be called Ukulima. And as you pay your monthly savings, you pay benevolent fund. And the benevolent fund that we are paying is 300 shillings. And when something happens, it is the SACCO that takes the responsibility. This money is not sent to any other vendor. It stays with the SACCO, and all members pay. But there's something that the SACCO has written that when something happens, either they give you money for the coffin, they give you money for transport, something like that. So we are not going that way. We are going to the vendor system.
Yes, that is what we were looking at going the vendor system. But
okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, do you mind explaining more how the KCB one works, or maybe you guys will come and explain it later? And then
we'll definitely come and explain it later, because maybe we needed to share yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something on KCB?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a benevolent fund with KCB as with one of our groups, and they have different categories. There's category 1 up to category 5. So currently, the one that we took as a group was 500,000. When something happens, they give you 500,000. They first give you 250,000 immediately within 48 hours after when death happens. And then later on, once you have submitted given them the death certificate, they will give you the balance of 250,000. Currently, I think the premium is 21,400 for the 500,000 money that they would give you if something happens. And Nini, you can put up to 5 members. No, it is not 5 members. It is 4 children. You can put 4 children below 21 years. And you can, your parents, your children, your parents-in-law. Yeah.
Wow. Here we go.
It is something like that. But they are good. They are good. They honor what they have promised.
Yeah, yes, and that's as I said again, as the management team, we had looked at about 10 different vendors who are offering those benevolent funds, and I think the vote at this point, the vote had come to KCB because they seemed to have the best offers. But as said again, we as management just were wanting, were asking our members to see if that would be something that they would permit us to offer. Because of course, everything that we do, we always have to run it by our members and make sure that the members are agreeable for us to offer that as a added value of being in the Sacco. And that is why we're wanting to introduce that and wanting to see if this would pass in a resolution. We'll definitely bring out the pamphlets and all the good stuff so that we can see exactly what we're signing up for. And of course, members can, sign up if they see that as something that they would want to include for themselves and their families. Any other comments?
Quick question on the chapter account.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will that be optional or mandatory?
Are you saying that are all chapters going to be required to have an account with the Sacco?
Yes, yes.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Is anyone else in management here who can talk on that? And as as I said again, the one main thing that I personally was looking at was introducing this as a way of risk management, just because of things have happened in the chapters, and then we get calls as management, or the office gets calls saying, oh, this and this has happened, help us. There's no, as I said again, there's no way for us to follow through because it is totally out of our hands. This is just a way to make sure our members are taken care of, and that there's that we're taking care of our members, basically, so that it's something that, because the chapters are still, it's when members join, they're joining because it is a Jowes Sacco, right? So we want to make sure that even if there's something that happens, Jowes can say, okay, no, okay, the money is sitting here, it's no one has taken it and taken it to and bought for themselves a Range Rover or something like that. So that was the heart of the one of the reasons why we're looking at that. The details of it, I definitely would not. I'd like to have other people also say something about it. As I said again, Irene is not here.
Yeah, I think it will need to be clarified. I still don't understand it, but I don't want us to spend a lot of time in clarifying since we'll revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand how that saving works, on whether you need to have your Jowes account up to date before you save at the chapter level, and why am I saving at the chapter level and saving at the Jowes level at the same time? I'm just having a lot of questions, in the sense that people are going to feel that they're spread very thin.
Yeah.
Too many
No,
savings within a circle.
Yeah, no, it's because I think that the chapters already have things that they do on the side, right? Where this is something that's already ongoing. So this was just our way of mitigating risk. And as I said again, let's revisit it again on our next meeting again, and hopefully we'll have better answers to your question.
Yeah, that's good. We'll revisit it.
Okay.
All right, moving along.
Yeah, that was the last part was the members give management the mandate to get a vendor for Sacco Benevolent Fund. I cannot read I cannot read the screen.
Also, maybe if you can just add on your notes, maybe we need to review the chapter policy.
Okay. So members give manager the mandate to get a vendor for Sacco Benevolent Fund. The members will pay annually for the fund, with the fund account open for them to save monthly, and the Sacco withdraws when it's time to pay premiums. That's that was that. So apart from that, any other comments? AOB questions?
Somebody has written on the chat Maybe these items can be done on a WhatsApp or group chat. A suggestion by one of the members.
So when you, I guess I don't understand. We sent out that Padlet on our WhatsApp groups, and that was where members were adding or were putting in their questions. That Padlet is still live. If you click on it, you're still able to add your questions. You're still able to add suggestions. You're still able to, update anything you wanted to update. Sometimes until we actually have a meeting and talk about it, it doesn't light up for people like, oh, I needed to talk about that, or I needed to, things become, things become clearer when we talk about it. So maybe now when we go back, people, I will probably have the office send out that Padlet again and see if anything else that that has come up again for you as an individual is clear again. Maybe you can use the Padlets again. But or when you say a WhatsApp group, is that what you are meaning? But we had to kind of contain it in a Padlet to keep it organized, or to keep it so that we can have a way to even present it. Otherwise, if we just say, and I don't know how else we can do it. If you but that's what I'm going to say about that. Does that answer the question?
Jackie, maybe the member can talk for herself if she can, but I think she's also a new member, so like
Okay.
how what is it, WhatsApp, when you join, you don't see previous messages. So maybe you guys can just repost again, something like that.
Hi, I think it's Akinya Dongo who has asked the question. Akinya, do you want to ask? You can unmute your mic and just ask.
No, I think it's rightfully as the former speaker has said, because I'm new, so it's a little bit confusing for me. But I hope I'll be able to understand as we go, because from those points, then I'm realizing, there are so many things I don't know. Am I supposed to be part of them? Am I, it's a bit confusing for me. If I'm seeing chapter account, I'm thinking, okay, where is my chapter? I think I joined CIA, but I've not had anything in that group. In the WhatsApp group, I've not seen any communication. When I say it's individual member account, where one is their contribution there. So it's a bit overwhelming for me, because I was just assuming normal Sacco, you join in, maybe everything has already been set and it's easier. But so probably it's just a confusion of getting to know what's going on right now. So I'll be patient to learn.
Okay, and you're kind of catching us on kind of on the end of our year in the Sacco, because our AGM is kind of the end of our year where we start, and where we get new leaders and we get, so this is the last 2 education days of the month. Our education days happen once a month. That's when we bring different topics and we talk about different things. So the last 2 education days of the year, when I say the last 2, so the March and April, no, this is February. So for end of February and end of March, we'll probably just use those education days to get ready for our AGM. On our AGM is our annual general meeting, and this is where we take care of our Sacco business. Our Sacco has bylaws. People, you look at them, and when the one thing that the first part of our meeting today, we looked at the bylaws and the things that needed changes on our bylaws. So that was the first part of that we looked into, and there's people see different things that they think need to be changed. One easy example is we moved our office, so we have to change all our documents, all our paperwork to reflect the new changes. So that's one of the things we're changing on our bylaws, because all of that is held in our bylaws. There's different points on our bylaws. So the one way that we have our members contribute to all the changes that we need to be seen, we send out a Padlet, and we'll resend it out again. And in the Padlet, you're able to put in your suggestions, because you can see our regular bylaws the way it is right now. But on the Padlet, if there's a line number, for every point, there's a number to it. You can say on number 9.3, I'm seeing this and I want, this is the change that I need that I think is good. So that is brought over here and we discuss it. And if members say, yeah, this is a good change, this is not a good change, that is what we're currently doing. A resolution is basically, and people, I'm also as new, and if I'm explaining this wrong, and somebody who knows, please explain it better. So a resolution is there's some certain things. For instance, our Sacco does not have a benevolent fund. The management team has looked into it, and we said, okay, another good value to add to our members would be for us to have a benevolent fund. But us as management, we cannot just wake up tomorrow and say, oh, okay, we're introducing KCB, come and become a member of this. We have to bring it before our members, and our members have to agree to that. So that's why we're bringing it in as a resolution and saying, hey, people, this is what we want to do as management. Do you agree to it? They said, okay, can we go ahead and do it? Do you give us the mandate to go ahead with taking this step? And that is what we're discussing right now. So I hope that has kind of cleared it a bit, and definitely we would be happy to sit with you and clarify better. We always encourage our members attend our education days. That is where we are able to explain things, talk about things on a easier level, where you can just talk about it and exchange and tell and say. So hope that clarifies that for you a little bit more. But as I said again, even me, I'm still just growing in this thing. Half the time I don't know what's going on, but we're here and we are moving. Yeah, we have people
Can I
who
add
are.
something to,
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
to Akinya Dongo and any new member who is not conversant with our Sacco? So we know that Sacco business is members' business, right? And members are like the top, like the supreme authority of the Sacco. So unlike other Saccos, these big Saccos, where members just go to the meeting, they don't know what's going on. They're not like fully involved in the Sacco. They're not fully involved in the decision-making process. Our Saccos, Jowes Sacco, embraces members. And so this meeting, and as Jackie has explained, is just for members to come in and give their input and learn about the changes that are happening. So like at Jowes, members are involved 100% of the time. And any decision that the management makes, they bring it to the members and see if the members agree with those decisions, share their input, so that tuna feel like tuna belong to the Sacco. And like those other, big Sacco, I think more established and things like that, they just run over things. So that's where this meeting is coming from.
Thank you, Aching. Aching is our very able. She
No,
was our
I'm a
first.
member.
She was
Very
our
able
first.
member.
Yeah, she was our
Member.
first chair lady. Come on,
Member.
Aching. She was the first chair lady, so she was the chair lady for what, 5 years, 6 years. So she's the powerhouse that's behind this circle. So thanks, Aching, for always being involved and for always giving input and direction and all that good stuff. So we appreciate you.
Point of correction, just a member, and I think also belonging to other circles, we learn other things and we learn as we go. So just sharing what we've learned as we go.
There's something on the chat, and it says, from somebody called Dorothy, do you have the FAQs or a document or a web page where we can access some of this more information? I'm also new, and I believe it would be very beneficial for us to have a dedicated document or page on the website where we can find this information easily. Oh, okay. You've already provided.
I posted our website on there. We have our documents on there. Even the packet that we sent out also had our bylaws. So the credit policy, I'm not sure if the credit policy is on there, and I'm not in a place where I can open my laptop to check it. So But yeah, we definitely have those available. And if something is missing and you'd like to see it, definitely reach out and we'll be able to see if we need to give you additional information and go forward, whatever it is that we can forward to you if you're not able to access it on our website. Okay. Any other questions or anything else that you guys would like me to address? Or can we go ahead and close the meeting? It's been what? A good 2 hours. I'm sorry for the lateness. We did not start. A lot of times we wait to have a good forum to start. I was also I had to change gears. I was at home and I realized I had to come to the library like 5 minutes before the meeting started. So there was a bit of a delay on that. Thank you so very much, Monica, for assisting with the slideshow here. I appreciate you. Any other questions before we shut down? A or B? Anybody? If not, I'd be happy if somebody would be happy to pray for us to end the meeting. Do I have any volunteer to pray for us?
Somebody has a raised hand. I don't know whether that's an earlier one.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Damaris.
Sorry, I also came very late. I'm guessing these are from the Padlet, some of them, or were the
Yes.
Padlet?
Yeah, these were all from the Padlet, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Wait, Chair, Damaris, now that Damaris is here, right? Damaris, do you mind explaining, or maybe not today or on a later date? You know, like those, about those like savings accounts within the Sacco. So like kama kuna savings accounts within the Sacco, kuna, those, inaitwaje? Like vacation accounts, members interest earning like accounts, savings account within the Sacco. I know Chama accounts because they are proposing to have like chapter accounts, and maybe you can look at the document later. What is the tax implication of those accounts?
Yeah.
To the Sacco.
Mom, may I mute? Can I talk or is someone else talking? We are talking to people.
I think it's a change background. I think if you can mute while Damaris answers.
Okay, so I think Sacco was, when the Sacco movement started, the expectation was it was like at the very, very, very basic level, just because the banking system was too expensive for the common 190. So if you remember the Sacco, the core Sacco product, so specifically the loans, the revenue made from that is not taxed. Is that correct? I don't know if the finance people are here. Brenda, Lydia, Cynthia. Yeah, so they're normally not taxed. So if you start including chamas, chamas and other organizations, now that's a more complex business model. And KRA takes it that mumesonga mbele. Yeah, you're doing so well that now you can include corporations in your Sacco, quote unquote. And so they then stop you from getting that freedom of from taxation, and you start paying 30% tax. So the Sacco I was working for, they had included chamas, and there weren't even many chamas. It was like 1 or 2 chamas out of my membership of maybe how many people, over 1,000 people. So there was 1 or 2 chamas. And how the KRA would pick that is because a chama wouldn't have an ID number. They'll have maybe a corporation number or something. And so they started questioning because of that. It became a big deal. We had to call our tax consultants, we had to call lawyers, just for them to kind of negotiate with the not negotiate, yeah, reason out with KRA. And the eventual resolution was that we need to eliminate those chairmans out, because now it's two chairmans that's causing everybody to pay 30% tax versus no tax, right? So maybe the chairman will benefit, but a common one will not benefit. So for instance, if you are to get you are getting a dividends of 10,000, for instance, now your dividends will only be 7,000. I'm being simplistic here, but I think a best person to explain to you would be the KRA. But that's what they told us in the other chairman, in the other so-called Sacco. And we had members like resolved, because people didn't want to lose their income, they resolved to take away the chairmans. Because it was just two chairmans, and most people are not even in those two chairmans, right? So it's almost maybe only 25 people benefiting. The other 1,200 of you are not benefiting.
Can I ask a question, Damaris?
Yes, go ahead.
I thought, okay, I don't know whether we were to bring chairmans, maybe, yeah, chairmans were the chapters, eh? But the question I wanted to ask, for example, there's this introduction of maybe me contributing as I contribute my monthly savings. If I was saving, for example, 5,000, now I increase it to 5,500 or 6,000, and I would like the 1,000 to be put separate for Christmas. Does that make the Sacco pay something?
If it's just for you, as Ginny, no.
Yeah, not Chama. Not a Chama. Not as including Chama, for example, or even when we start benevolent fund, and the Sacco is saying members are going to pay maybe within this 1 year, because benevolent fund you pay once off. So maybe we say we are going to pay our benevolent fund in May, for example, and depending on what I've chosen, and I put probably, if it is 20,000, so when I'm saving my 5,000 on a monthly basis, I now pay 25,000. Does that make the Sacco pay something extra to KRA? What you have explained is Chama, maybe another women group joining Jokanyanam. I'm actually confused.
I think if it's an individual, because your identifier will be your identity card and your KRA. Yeah. But a Chama doesn't have an identity card. It will have a registration number. So it might be a self-help group number, or what else is there? A limited company number. So now that means it's an organization. It's not an individual. So if it's for you as a person, then the core basic Sacco processes remain.
Okay.
Only now when you introduce in entities, legal entities versus individual, that it makes it complicated. Jackie and I don't know who else is from the office. Maybe it should be good to talk to KRA, because I'm talking. It's almost like I'm a third party, right? I don't know what KRA has told you, if at all. I'm not an expert. Like, you can't quote me. I'm telling you what I was told by our lawyer as they talked to KRA. So it's almost like it might be complicated because you can't quote me. I don't know if that makes sense. You can quote me as a layman, but you can't quote me as an expert.
Thank you very much. You have explained well. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Damaris. At least you also had the savings in a kasi mbaya. Those ones can stay. But anyway.
We can talk to KRA. Let's not take my word for it. That would be my understanding. Or a tax expert. Because I think, at least in the other Sacco, they didn't call out the other products, but they called out chairmans, just because the identifier was not an individual's Kenyan ID or KRA PIN.
And Jackie, remind me, there's a KRA Luo lady actually wa tax hapo hivyo. I can give you a number. You guys can reach out to her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. She usually teaches about these tax things and stuff. So
Okay, thanks. We'll
Ujue ya
definitely reach out.
kwa KRA sasa wakiwashika, it becomes a project, right? It's not like one meeting and it's over. So you might now have to get a lawyer to discuss with them, to get a tax expert. It becomes
Lipa lawyer.
even in time. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, it just becomes teaching for no reason, unless you have the resources. And the time they came to us was at the time of Zakayo. Zakayo is still there. I don't know. There's a time Zakayo they were looking for money everywhere.
Siku hizi ni kasongo. Kasakayo is not there, but we have kasongo.
Yeah.
Vicky, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Vicky.
And we are going to pay like because now they'll back it mpaka siku ile that chama started. So like those chamas had started like 3 years ago. So you are going to pay 30,000 on your revenue for those 3 years, and you are not been paying. So no, that's a big inaleta shida for no reason.
Yeah, definitely. So, Vicky, you said you have a question. I thank you again, Damaris. So we'll definitely look further into it for now. But as I said again, the genesis of all of this is we're trying to get Quara is able to offer different savings vehicles, and that is what we're looking into. That was where all of this started. So, and then that is why and then because of the happenings that are in the chapters, we're looking at finding better risk management avenues for us for our chapters, and that is why we're going to introduce chama, a chapter account. That way, when the chapters are doing their little the chapters, and now this is for the new book. Different chapters have come up with different ideas where they either they borrow, they do table bank, they do the different chapters all do different things. So, but sometimes they end up giving the funds to individuals.
You guys hear Jackie, you're breaking.
I'm sorry. Am I still breaking?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I was just trying to explain a little bit what chapters are, just for the sake of our new members. Different chapters have different projects. And in the past, we have had issues where chapters come and say, host Pesa Olal. So we were trying to find a way where we can say, no, Pesa Olal and money account my chapter account. So that way it's kind of to help out with that. But as I said again, we always bring these things before you guys so that we can talk them through and, can help each other see blind spots. And then if that is going to be an issue with KRA, we definitely think that. So we'll definitely talk about it again here in the future, maybe next month again. We can talk about it again. Any other questions? I don't see any other hands up. With that being said, does Monica, do you want to pray us out, or is Bruce? I don't think Rosemary is out here. Or is there any other volunteer who would like to pray us out? Anybody?
That's all right.
Okay, Rokamana, go ahead.
All right. Let's pray. Dear Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you so much for each one of us. We thank you so much for the gift of community, the gift of being together, Lord Father, and the gift of being part of this Sacco community, Lord Father. You know, we are building it from a place of beginning, from a place of wreck, Lord Father. We just ask you as we disperse this meeting, give each one of us the humility, the wisdom to be able to think through some of the things we have deliberated on so that we can be able to move this circle forward. As each one of us is continuing on, we know we're in different time zones. Father, we ask you to bless us. Those who are calling it a night, we ask you to bless them throughout the night with their families, with their communities. Lord, protect them from the evil one. Those of us who are still continuing with our day, Lord Father, we also put them into your hands, God, that you continue blessing them, you continue protecting them, and continue giving them wisdom in whatever they are doing for today, Lord Father. Father, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for everything that we have been able to accomplish. We thank you for what we are thinking of accomplishing in the future, and we are just asking you to give us the attitude of gratitude, dear Father. I'm praying and committing each one of us into thy hands and believing in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you again, Monica, for praying for us. And ladies, before I let you guys out, we remember again, we have our AGM coming up April 12th. That is, I always say that hesitating just because it's always dependent on if our books are signed on time, what if the ministry gives us our books on time. But so far we have it for April 12th. In regards to that, we have t-shirts that we are selling also. I think you guys saw a few t-shirts that were on that were posted on our pages over there. If you're in Kenya, the t-shirts are in the office. You call the office. If you're out here in the diaspora, contact me. No, normally I'll say contact Gladys, but we all know. Again, that also reminds me again, Polly, Gladys. I think by now all of us have kind of Gladys lost her mom a day ago, so be with her in your prayers also during this difficult time for her. Just be with her. We'll continue to work on that also. But we have t-shirts for sale. We're continuing to look for vendors and sponsors for our AGM. Remember, all of this is all going towards funding our AGM, and so that our Sacco does not come out of cost of that. With that said, on my end, I don't have anything else. Normally, we can stay on for domotherapy, where domotherapy is normally where we get down, turn our cameras on. If you have, now we just talk general stories. If you have any additional questions, you can ask. But that is where we are. Those who are ready to, I know it's late in Kenya, so those who are ready to log off also you have our permission now. You can log off. But those who want to stay on and chit chat also, we can also do that. So karibuni, and again, I just want to thank you guys for taking time to be here. It is always a sacrifice for you, but thank you again for taking your Sacco business, making that important to you. So thank you again. That's all I have. Come on over. Thank you, Jen.
Good job, Jackie. Makofi. Acha tukurushie emoji.
Asante. Normally, Irene is one that does this, and she's not the expert in a lot of these things, but she had something that came up, so I was kind of trying to wing it here. Hi, Lydia. I see you're here. Karibu. So, oh, I need to stop recording. Okay, I'll go ahead and stop recording. Thanks for reminding me of that.